Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the United Star. We're back with the transfer window, and there are just few days left for it to shut. And Manchester United have, of course, signed only Donny van de Beek. We are linked with a few players. We're working on some agreements, and as United fans, we're hoping there is some positive news. We're hoping that there's a here we go soon, but it doesn't look likely. But on the bright side, if you can call it that, we have gotten rid of some of the Deadwood. It seems like we're getting rid of them. So let's get Vishesh in here and let's get talking about that first. Some deals are in process that are done. I think Diego Dallo looks done. What do you think about that?
Not really, Prasham. Diego Dallo is actually the one that's really confusing because Manchester United don't want to send him out on loan. They want him gone for good, which is pretty surprising because I found him to be a very versatile player who can play in multiple positions. So I would have taken that, let him go out on loan, and then we can see how the squad does and make a decision on Dallo. But the recent rumor is that he was offered to a club, and Manchester United, like a club came in for him. Manchester United rejected that, and at the moment, AC Milan has put in a loan offer without the obligation to buy next season. And I think United are stuck on that part. I think United want to include the obligation to buy or some sort of a buy clause in his movement from United to AC Milan. So I think it's very clear when it comes to Diego Dallo that he's not wanted at the club, and I honestly do not agree with the club when it comes to that. But yeah, I think Diego Dallo is in a very tricky situation as of right.
I agree with you, Vishesh, in terms of that he is a good player. He's not that old. He is young. He's got potential. He plays on both wings. Look good going forward. But I'm pretty sure that like the management must have seen something in training that they don't like about him, and it must be some, because I don't understand why they would freeze out a player as young as him. Other than that, so it's really hard to understand, like you said. But let's move from one defender to another. One-time Player of the Year at Manchester United, Chris Smalling. What do you make of his whole situation with Roma saying yes and then no and then yes?
He's gonna leave Prasham. I think that's very clear. He made it clear when he came back that he wants to leave. We haven't seen him in training. Ole has also been pretty vocal about it that they haven't received the right offer, and I think that's completely right. I mean, we've always been labeled as that club who allows their talent to go on cheap. So if we are being stubborn about an asking price, clubs have to now, stick to that and pay what we're asking for. I mean, 15 million for Smalling isn't that much, even if we're looking at a market in which, COVID has just occurred. If we go to sell him in the Premier League, we aren't going to sell him to a rival at 15 million, right? We'd probably sell him for 20, 25 million. So, and especially taking the season that has just gone by. So we can add the fact that Smalling is pressing that he wants to go to Roma and he wants to leave, causing the price to reduce. But I think Roma should just cough up the money, bro. It's 10 to 15 million with, I think that includes add-ons. But yeah, I see him 100% leaving United. He doesn't have a future. Neither does he want to stay. Neither have I seen it from his side that he wants to come back and fight for a position. So I think he knows his career has ended here, and Manchester United are just waiting for the right offer.
I agree. In my view, I think 15 million is yet a low ball offer. I think 20 to 25 million for the quality of Chris Smalling. He doesn't work in a United system, but he works brilliant. He's a good player. He's a perfectly good player. And I think he showed it last season in Roma that he can play. It's not that he can't play. It's just that he's not the kind of player we need. If you ask me, out of all the signings that are leaving, Chris Smalling probably would be the one I'm most disappointed about, because he genuinely is a decent player. He arguably is even better maybe than one or two of the center backs that we have in pure defensive terms. So I think it's unfair for Roma to pay anything less than 15 million, which I think 15 million is anyways low. But let's now move forward in terms of our midfield. Andreas Pereira seems set to leaving. I think we only make deals in Italy apparently. So what do you think about that?
So Andres Pereira is more or less a done deal. I think Romano came out, gave the Yovi go, and Lazio's director came out and said it should be completed in 2 to 3 days, and that's completely acceptable. It was since the start of the season, it's been clear he's not in the plans. Neither has he made the bench, nor has he made the starting 11. But what is surprising, to be honest, Prasham, is the deal that has been made. It's a 1 year loan. Now, I'm not sure about this part, but it's either if you want to buy him, you pay 27 million, or it is a confirmed obligation to buy at the end of the season. It's either of the two, which hasn't been clarified yet. And if you're getting 27 million for Andres Pereira, who was kicking the ball outside Old Trafford, I don't know how United have managed to pull off such a deal with Lazio. Either Lazio has seen something in Andres Pereira the world hasn't seen, or Lazio is just in the mood of spending cash next season.
There are two things. I think there are two parts to this. That if it is not an obligation to buy, then I think we are paying more 60% of his wages this year, I think. And if it's not an obligation to buy, and if it's a buy or sell, in which they'll be looking at buy or just give back to United, then they'll be looking at Andreas Pereira this season, and they'll be seeing that if he's worth the 27 million, which they'll obviously realize he's not, and then that's not a good deal for Man United. That's not a good deal at all. I'd rather have him gone for even 20 million. I'd rather have him just gone off our book completely. But let's see how that situation progresses. But I do think that the Lazio deal is reached, and I don't think he's going to go anywhere else. And I think it's just about the fans on the press getting more clarity in sort of how the deal has been structured.
Yeah.
But apart from these three players that have been confirmed, do you see anyone else moving out? Like, what is the situation with Lee Grant? Why is he still at the club? What about Jesse Lingard? Is he going to remain? Because it looks like Lingard's getting game time. Do you think he's just going to remain at United this season to get a
So
chance once more himself?
So the players I see heading out, I think Romero doesn't have a future. I love him. He's been one of the best second keepers that we could have in the league. But as we saw at Arsenal, right, you can't have Leno Martinez in the same side. The same way we're somehow managing to keep Henderson De Gea, I don't think we can do Henderson De Gea Romero. One of them will leave.
Let me ask you here, with the Villa door now shut for Romero, where do you potentially see him going?
So the rumor is Everton, because of Pickford's recent
Howler.
performance. I mean, it's not even recent; it's something everyone knows. But it's just coming out way too early this season.
And
Uh,
I think Carlo has openly, I think, not said it in as many words, but he clearly is not happy with Jordan
yeah,
Pickford.
yeah. So the only issue again is Romero's wages. He's on a very high wage book. So I think Romero is someone the club would want to send off. Again, he has a contract. He can tell the club, "I'm just going to stay." Club can't do anything about it. We got him on a free, so even if he goes for like 5 to 10 million, it's a profit. So he's been a great servant, and I'm not going to really hassle over this. Another player that is being mentioned is Dan James, which would be
Yeah.
something very interesting. It was initially mentioned that Dan James goes to Leeds on a loan, which makes me feel Solskjaer is getting that attitude. If you don't work out here, you're out. I mean, you got that one season, you played well in the beginning, and then you've just been shit post then, right? So you're not fitting into the system. Go out, try your luck somewhere else, and come back later. So
In my view, Vishesh, it's more like I can't coach you. Bielsa can go there, learn how to play, and come back.
maybe that's the case. But again, the issue with that is Manchester United to Leeds. We all know the rivalry. We've seen the video on the rivalry. So that's another situation altogether. But I think these five players are something that I expect to happen. When it comes to Jesse Lingard, I think he stays. I think Ole likes him. And I did see him in a Carabao Cup, and I personally did like his performance in the Carabao Cup that he put in. There was some pressing that was there, which I haven't seen from any other player in a really long time.
Mhm.
So for that reason, I think the four that I mentioned are going to go out for sure. Dan James goes out if we get another winger in.
And what about Marcus Rojo? He's been yo-yoing in the club.
There's nothing to say about him. For all you know, he's not come back from Argentina and someone kidnapped him and he's just stayed out there.
And the most important question is this, Vishesh. In which part of Carrington is Phil Jones hiding to have not been even mentioned in transfers?
He's injured. He's probably
Yeah,
sitting in the hospital for the
let
last
me on a
6 months.
serious note, let me make a point about this. A lot of fans have come out and said, why don't you sell Phil Jones? Why don't you sell Phil Jones? The question is, who's going to buy Phil Jones? None of the top teams are going to buy Phil Jones. I don't see Phil Jones costs easily about 20 million, 25 million. he easily costs that, right? None of the top teams are going to pay that much for him. He can't go to a no championship squad is going to invest in a player who's potentially injured
Forget
for 20
investing, Rasham.
seasons.
Forget investing. No championship team will be able to pay Phil Jones how much
Forget,
United
even if
does.
they're able to pay him, why would they invest the most money in a player who can't even guarantee a 40 games in the Champions League every season? Forget 40, he can't even guarantee 32 games a season. So I don't think any championship team will invest in that. No Premier League team scrapping for relegation will also invest in him. So where is he going to go? Nobody wants Phil Jones. That is a simple case. We gave him a contract extension, and it's our fault. We should have just let him go on free. But let's move on from this to some players we might bring in. And again, these are the same two names that I'm going to mention here that have been spoken about for about 2 months, and one has been spoken about for a year and a half, but nothing has happened. Of course, Alex Telles and Jadon Sancho.
So I'll start off with something I read recently, and all Indian people watching this will understand. So I read a tweet that Manchester United are that club who want to marry their girlfriend in India, and the girlfriend is ready for it, but their parents aren't. So we just don't get the agreement done with the club, right? Uh, Alex Teller's agreement has been reached with with the player. We know that. Sancho agreement has been reached. We know that. Why are we fighting over 1-2 million? Like, what is the point of this? It goes down to the same thing. You look at Regulion, who's gone to Spurs. Agreement reached. In that case, issue was the buyback clause. Fine, I accept we didn't go for him. But what's stopping us right now? I mean, Romano did put a tweet out that things are progressing when it comes to Tellers, and Tellers should probably be a United player by the end of the week. So that is something positive, but that doesn't solve our issues, right? Tellez is a left back. He's not a centre back. So I mean, maybe he brings that competition to Shaw, and the full theory that if Tellez comes and we have Shaw, then maybe we can play the three at the back with Tellez being a more attacking wing back.
And also, Williams can potentially now
And then
transform to a
Williams
right
goes to the right back and gives competition to Aaron Van
Van
Bissaka.
Bissaka.
I understand that psyche. You're changing the formation. You're trying a different tactic. Something that we say that Ole doesn't have. He's a one-dimensional guy. Maybe that brings the change. Accepted, but he's not on our priority list when it comes to signings in. We got a midfielder who's not a Matic midfielder replacement. Firstly, he's someone to support Bruno and Pogba. Great, we needed that, but we needed a right wing for so long. Where is that? I mean, for 1.5 years, you're linked with Jadon Sancho. Forget linked. Your terms are agreed with Jadon Sancho. How hard is it to do Dortmund? I mean, it's like supposing you're Woodward and I'm Dortmund. Okay, you ask me you start throwing prices at me. You're just throwing prices like, Vishesh, do you want 50 million? I'm like, no. Do you want 60 million? I'm like, no. Do you want 70 million? Just pay up how much he's asking for if you want him. Or otherwise just be clear that you don't value him at that price, and look elsewhere. I mean, Jadon Sancho isn't the end of the world. There are like 500 other clubs in the world. I'm pretty sure there's one right winger you must have scouted that is at the same level. Or if
To be
not at the
honest,
same level, at
Vishesh,
least.
the confidence you share, the confidence you have in our scouting system, I personally don't have that confidence. Because if that was there, we could have put pressure on Dortmund saying, you know what, bye bye, we don't want him. We got this other option. We're going to go for him. But clearly, it's not there. And the biggest problem is that this Jadon Sancho transfer is the only transfer we've been trying to get done. Van der Beek has happened because of like how efficient Ajax are as a club. It's not
Not
because
even that.
anything to
It's
do with
because it's
Man
because
United.
it's because Van de Sar was the director of football, and he has
Exactly how
connections and
efficient
he
they
can
are
get
with
it
it. They
done.
don't renege on things. They don't drag their feet in the sand, so to speak. And Manchester United have become experts at that. You mentioned Regulon, and that's a great segue into what a little thing I want to do with you is that would you have taken this player at our club? And I'm going to go through a few transfers that some of the other teams have had, and you just say yes or no. No explanation, just yes or no. Okay, so let's start with Liverpool. Diego Jota,
No.
uh, Thiago Silva,
Yeah.
Thiago
Yeah.
Alcantara.
Yeah. You know my answer to this. Thiago Alcantara. Yeah.
I would have taken Jota as well, but let's move on to Man City. Nathan Ake,
Not for the price that they got him.
okay. Ruben Diaz, since it's
Yes.
almost done.
Yes.
Also it's hilarious how literally this lost the game, and literally that moment Pep has gone and signed another player.
Yeah,
Can the man coach a defense or not? I'm not very sure.
I think Pep
Uh,
is done in England, but that's another video.
Tottenham Hotspur. Let's move to them. I really like some of the signings. Matt Doherty,
Yeah, yeah,
interesting. Above, he would compete with Van Bissaka, but interesting. What about Højbjerg, Pierre-Emerick Højbjerg, the Matic replacement?
possible. Yeah, I would have taken him.
Serge Reguilon, of course. Yes, everyone at United is looking for.
Again, for the deal that he's gone, and no, for the player he is, yes.
And Gareth Bale.
No, I don't want another Sanchez at United.
Chelsea, I'm not even going to go through. Chelsea,
Those are eight
it will
signings
take
that we have to
25
go
minutes
through
to
right
go through
there.
it.
Yeah. No, but if
Let
you if you if you want from Chelsea, if I have to mention, Timo Werner is someone that I would have liked to see. Um, I'm
I
not a
think
big
Kai Havertz as a potential Sancho replacement would have been a nice
Yeah,
option.
yeah. I think Timo Werner, Kai Havertz. I don't rate Thiago Silva that much when it comes
Not
to
at
the
all. He's
Premier League.
already proven he's a garden. He's 36. Not good
We
enough.
don't need Mendy as a keeper. Who else did they get, man? Yeah, I mean, I think only Havertz and Werner, someone I would have taken in a United. So.
Ziyech, I would have taken.
Oh yeah, but he's injured. He's injured,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's in.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving on to, of course, Everton. James Rodriguez.
100%. You know what's surprising is James has gone on a free. They got
I think he's
James
only gone on.
Rodriguez for free.
I think the only reason that deal has happened is Carlo Ancelotti, and there was no way Ole was having any sort of power over Carlo in the transfer market or any sort of legitimacy over Don Carlo. So that let's not even talk about why that happened and why he wouldn't have come to United anyway. Allen, another potential replacement for the Matic role.
No.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. I don't think Allen fits at Man United. He does. He doesn't have the level. He's
Yeah.
not at that level. Or Doucouré?
No, because
No. Yeah,
Doucouré again goes into that Pogba category, and we've got Van de Beek for that.
yeah. He's a lesser version of Pogba, so why would you sign that? I think. I think we've covered. I think we've covered almost most of the clubs. Arsenal, maybe they got Willian, but I don't think. I don't want to get into that. Willian, Gabriel. I don't think they're sort of worth sort of talking about.
Yeah, not really.
So yeah, I think why do you think we shouldn't have signed Jota though? I think that's an interesting one. Young player, exciting potential.
I don't see Jota being the Sancho replacement personally. I think we have a lot of young talent at the club that's going to do very well. I think Greenwood is still there. I think Hannibal is coming up the ranks. Getting more young talent that is in similar positions while does bring out competition and makes it a cutthroat competition. I just think we're good when it comes to the attacking front, except for the right wing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. And which is the one player you'd probably want to take from another Premier League team, not the top six teams, but which is the one player you take from the another Premier League team in Man United?
DCL.
DCL. Yeah, yeah, fair. I was gonna say Calvin Phillips, but yeah, even DCL seems like a great option. I think Calvin Phillips
The
could
two,
replace Matic.
the Calvin Phil. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true. But DCL is someone I see who's a pure number nine. The number
Yeah,
nine Ole talks about, and I'm not saying Martial's out of the team then, but that would be a great signing for United to have.
that's a big upgrade on Igalo.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
No,
And
I think I said it in one of our podcasts. I think DCL is basically a lesser version of Harry Kane. I think he does everything that Kane does, but obviously not at that level. But he's young, so he could potentially grow to that level.
yeah, yeah, yeah. There are a few other players that I wanted. There was Ben White from Brighton, who I
Mhm.
saw would have been a great addition to our defensive squad. I really wanted Ben White. Uh, Again, you mentioned Phillips from Leeds, great replacement for Matic. But again, getting the Leeds to United transfer is something hard. It's not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, Bielsa is a. I don't think he would sell.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know who I would take? I would take Bielsa as our manager.
No, Vishesh. That would not work.
I
That
know.
would not work. I think on that note, I think we should call this a wrap. You've heard Vishesh talk about our transfers, the updates. You've heard him, whether he'd keep. Let us know what y'all think about the players we've spoken about. Whether y'all would take them at Man United. Which other players you'd have liked to see at United? Because clearly we're not going anywhere. It doesn't look like we'll get more than two or maybe three signings at this point. If we get this season, it would be a great transfer window for us now. It looks like that. And the other teams have developed, the other teams have grown. On the bright side, some Deadwood seems to be going out. So let us know what y'all think. Let us know whether there will be a Here We Go or not. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it, and we'll see you all soon.
Bye bye.